It's the mayor. Welcome to Showface News. You can call me what you want. Just don't call me woke. You're not rocking with the town favorite Showface News. It's Big Gotham. You already know it's the town versus everybody at all times. Make sure you hit the like button. Share the video. Now, first and foremost, I want to start out by saying this. This is a very unbiased channel. Now, it's always a town versus everybody at all times, so we often defend our New Yorkers, but when our New Yorkers mess up bad, I repeat, we must call it out. All right? Now, here's what I did today. I was looking at these documents from Little Rod, all right? The one accusing Diddy of doing many heinous acts, including, trafficking women, as well as unaliving a friend of Justin Combs with Justin Combs, which is what I wanted to get to. Is this even facts? Because I've been looking at these court documents and they look awfully strange and funny style. I'm just keeping it being with y'all. See, I'm not going to jump on a bandwagon and be like, yeah, Diddy did it because I don't like Diddy and Diddy is evil. I could be that type of person, but I'm not. All right? I'm not the biggest fan of Puff. However, bro, some things just don't add up. Now, this right here that I'm showing y'all on the screen, even though you probably can't see that, is alleged documents that Justin Combs and Puff both unalived Justin Combs' friend at a party. I'm going to read this to y'all. I want y'all to hit the like button and share the video. It's the mayor. By the way, I have multiple, docs on here. Anywho, it says man shot outside party at Hollywood recording studio. At least one person was shot at a party at a Hollywood recording studio, police said Monday. Officers were called to the 800 block of North Highland Avenue at Willoughby to check into reports of a shooting at about 3 a.m. according to the LAPD. At the location, they found a man that had been shot after stepping outside the studio. The man is in his 30s. He was taken to a hospital in stable condition. He was reportedly shot in the abdomen. Right? Sky 2 was over the scene early Monday, spotted several people sitting outside the location being questioned by police. No information was released about the suspect, and it's not known if the shooting was gang related. The man in his 30s was taken to the hospital in stable condition. He was reportedly shot in the abdomen, whatever. Okay, cool. Anyway, Little Ron is saying that this person was someone that was a friend of Justin Combs. All right. And that they clapped this man in the studio with the door closed, left the studio, and made sure that nobody said anything. All right. Now, the man is not, I don't think the man is dead. I don't think the man is unalive. However, the man was allegedly shot. All right. They said Mr. Jones was approximately 2 feet away from the bathroom when gunshots rang out. Mr. Jones recalls hearing multiple gunshots. Okay. I'm assuming Mr. Jones is Little Rod. That's Little Rod. So he's saying he heard multiple gunshots from the bathroom. He said he decided to lift G and placed him to sit on the toilet. Mr. Jones asked the crowd to call the ambulance. Mr. Jones lifted G and brought him to the ambulance at the studio's front. At this time, Mr. Combs and Justin disappeared to another part of the studio. Like, bro, there's a lot of allegations on here. They even got the whole thing with with Stevie J allegedly in a tape and whatnot. We found out that was a lie. That wasn't Stevie J. Okay. You got the Young Miami's cousin assaulted Mr. Jones, who was Little Rod, on Thanksgiving Day of 2022. Like, bro, I'm not gonna lie, but looking at all this, it's like some of this doesn't seem official. I'm just saying. I'm not saying that everything is a lie, but certain things just don't seem official. All right. This right here. The sex workers at Mr. Combs forced Mr. Jones to bring back to his home on or about February 2nd, 2023 incident. Mr. Jones believes Mr. Combs drugged him. Mr. Jones recalls waking up naked, dizzy, and confused. He was in bed with 2 sex workers and Mr. Combs. He also recalls aimlessly wandering around the house with no clothes on. Right now, look, you might have been on that pink cocaine, as they say. All right, you might have been on that. Now I'm not denying everything, but certain things just don't add up, man. This is on another occasion in Miami, Florida on Thanksgiving night of 2022. Mr. Combs asked Mr. Jones and DeForest Taylor to enter the studio bathroom. He asked them for $100 bill because he wanted them to do coke with him. Mr. Jones was scared, but luckily he didn't have $100 bill, so Mr. Combs waited a little later to do coke with Young Miami. Later that evening, he acquired Mr. Jones to solicit sex workers from Booby Trap on the River, located on 3615 Northwest South River Drive, Miami, Florida 33142. Mr. Jones did so, and Mr. Combs forced him to engage in unsolicited sex acts with these workers. So, like I said, man, there's a lot being put out here, and like I said, it just don't add up, champs. It just don't. I'm gonna be real. I said this in the beginning. I said, I don't know if Little Ron is telling the truth all the way. It seems like he wants it back. Originally, this man asked for $200,000+ from Puff that he did not receive yet. All right. He was looking for some type of settlement money. This came right after Cassie's situation. Right. Now, this doesn't mean Puff is innocent at all, because I think he's done some things. But when it comes to Little Rod, champ, a lot of the stuff that you saying just ain't facts, bro. And I know for a fact that you gotta be lying, because it already came out that whoever that was on that video was not Stevie J. Okay? It just wasn't Stevie J. The person who in the video came out and said it wasn't him, it was them. Maybe you had mistaken identity. I'll give you the benefit of a doubt. But champ, when I'm looking through these documents, these court docs, something just don't add up. So there's this Booby Trap on the River thing. I guess this is a club of some sort. As part of Mr. Jones' sex worker recruitment tools, Mr. Combs provided Mr. Jones with an exclusive bad boy baseball cap and required him to wear it to Booby Trap on the River as a signal to any sex worker he approached that Mr. Combs was in town and had sent Mr. Jones to recruit them. Mr. Jones had no desire to visit Booby Trap on the River. Mr. Jones had no desire to solicit sex workers from Booby Trap on the River. Mr. Combs used his power and influence to intimidate and force Mr. Jones into soliciting sex workers from Booby Trap on the River. As detailed below, Mr. Combs used many tactics to maintain dominion and control over Mr. Jones. Apparently, these workers were accustomed to servicing Mr. Combs and would know that he is in town by the sight of the bad boy baseball cap. The following are Instagram profiles of two of the sex workers that Mr. Combs required Mr. Jones to solicit and have sex with at his home in Miami, Florida. So I'm assuming, so a lot of these documents is coming from the LA and the Miami mansions, by the way. Okay. This particular incident, the Miami mansion. That's why they went and raided the Miami and LA mansions, because when it comes to the court documents, a lot of these situations took place in Miami and Los Angeles, mainly. That's why they raided those mansions, right? But the thing about it is this. They ain't charged Diddy with nothing because they didn't find anything. And that doesn't mean he don't have anything, but they ain't find nothing. Now, mansions are pretty big. I'm not going to lie. You think Puff had ample amount of time to get rid of everything? Like, everything? I'm not saying he's innocent by any means, but I'm saying, y'all think he had that much time on his hands to get rid of all possible evidence that could possibly get him locked up? I'm just asking. There's too many rumors going around, not enough facts. That's the problem. Too much narrative, not enough factuals. You know what I'm saying? Not enough factual things. You dig? That's the problem right now. I'm not going to lie. It says Mr. Jones had no desire to solicit or have sex with the individuals in the previous paragraph. Mr. Combs used his power and influence to intimidate and force Mr. Jones into soliciting and sleeping with these women. The following is the number of another sex worker that Mr. Combs required Mr. Jones to solicit and perform sex acts with at his home in Miami, Florida. Could you imagine forcing a man to do things with a female? It's kind of crazy. You don't really hear about that. That's not something that happens every day, not gonna lie. It says Mr. Combs used many tactics to maintain dominion and control over Mr. Jones. He promised him a Grammy for producer of the year for the Love album. He offered him $250,000 to purchase all the instruments he wanted. He promised him ownership of his $20 million property, One Star Island in Miami, Florida. He promised access to record label executives like defendants Lucian Charles Grain and Ethiopia Habta Mariam, however you say her last name. Mr. Combs would often switch up his approach. He would go from promising Mr. Jones the world to threatening Mr. Jones with physical harm. Mr. Combs threatened to eat Mr. Jones' face and inform Mr. Jones that he is willing to smoke his mother, Janice Combs, if he must in order to get what he wants. So he wouldn't think twice to harm Mr. Jones. What do you mean, eat his face? What type of time was he on? I don't know. Listen, I could believe some things here. I'm not going to lie, but there's some questionable things up here. That's all I'm saying. You dig? Mr. Combs and J. Combs solicits drugs and engage in illicit sex acts with minors and sex workers. See, this is the big one here. Now, Justin Combs and Diddy is the ones that's in trouble the most. All right? On or about July 2nd, 2023 in California, Mr. Combs had a listening party at his home. Present at his party was R&B artists who's redacted, J. Combs, sex workers, and some underage girls. That even began at 7 p.m. Mr. Combs requested female sex workers and required Mr. Jones to solicit them. An hour later, several sex workers appeared. In addition to sex workers, there was at least 5 women in the crowd that were under the age of 16. Mr. Combs forced all the women to drink Lace de Leon liquor. Remember, he had a partnership with De Leon Vodka, which is now gone. Upon information and belief, Mr. Combs laced the liquor with ecstasy. Mr. Combs did not check the identification of any of these underage girls. The presence of these underage women made Mr. Jones very uncomfortable. He attempted to leave and Mr. Combs forced him to stay. Mr. Combs went so far as to take Mr. Jones' car keys to prevent him from leaving. After being forced to drink laced De Leon shots, Mr. Jones began feeling lightheaded and recalls passing out and waking up at 4 a.m. the following morning naked, with a sex worker sleeping next to him. Screenshots of a video from the night is embedded below. Okay. Damn. Justin Combs, an underage female. Yeah. Oh, damn. Well then. In that case, you niggas might be going to jail. I'm not going to hold you. There's a lot of pictures up here, champ. So nobody got charged yet? Nobody got charged? Mr. Combs attempts to pass off Mr. Jones to Cuba Gooding Jr. Mr. Jones believes that Mr. Combs was grooming him to pass him off to his friends. This fear became reality when Mr. Combs introduced Mr. Jones to Cuba Gooding Jr. while they were on Mr. Combs' yacht. What type of move? During the introduction, Mr. Combs suggested that Cuba get to know Mr. Jones better. He then left them alone in a makeshift studio on the yacht. As evidenced by a video of which screenshots are embedded below, Cuba Gooding Jr. began touching, groping, and fondling Mr. Jones' legs, his upper inner thighs near his groin, the small of his back near his buttocks, and his shoulders. Mr. Jones was extremely uncomfortable and proceeded to lean away from Mr. Cuba Gooding Jr. He rejected his advances, and Mr. Gooding Jr. did not stop until Mr. Jones forcibly pushed him away. The following is a screenshot of the encounter with Cuba Gooding Jr. Let's see. Hey, yo. What the hell? They do got pictures. They do got pictures. So, hey, man, maybe this is what they was able to execute that search warrant with on the mansions, man. We ain't got concrete proof, but these pictures is there, champ. They definitely got these pictures, gang. I ain't gonna lie. Pictures is there. Even though there might be some funny style things, in these docs, there's some things that's here, gang. I ain't gonna lie. The Love album. Throughout his time with Mr. Combs, Mr. Jones was under an implied work for hire agreement. He was not compensated for his time living with Mr. Combs or for the songs he produced. As evidence, he was listed as a producer for the following songs on the Love album's final release. Deliver Me, Stay Part 1, Reaching, What's Love, Stay a While, Moments, Need Somebody, Homecoming, and Tough Love. Mr. Combs and defendants LR, MR, UMG all benefited from Mr. Jones' work product. They failed to compensate Mr. Jones for his work. As a result, Mr. Combs and defendants LR, MR, UMG were all unjustly enriched at the expense of Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones attempted to work with Mr. Combs to secure his publishing and royalty rights for the work he completed on the Love album. Mr. Combs only offered Mr. Jones $29,000 for 13 months, thousands of hours of work, and 9 songs that made it to the Love album. Ironically, Mr. Jones was willing to take $50,000, his publishing and royalties. Mr. Combs' self-serving greed would not allow him to pay Mr. Jones an additional $21,000. Boy, that minute, yeah, that little rod pick is it right there. I ain't gonna hold you, man. That's crazy. That's wild. Like I said, there's some things in here that can very well be true, but certain things we know are not true already because it's already been confirmed. All right, but here's a word from our sponsors, LeBron James. Ready? Look.
Like a Diddy party, so
yeah, that's what's up. Yeah,
yes, sir.
What you say, LeBron? What was that?
No, ain't no party like a Diddy party, so
yeah, that's what's up. Yeah,
yes, sir.
Yeah, LeBron said ain't no party like a Diddy party. I don't know what happens at Puff's parties, but LeBron says you can't miss it. All right, I don't know, gang. Might be the steroids. I don't know. You dig? Angela Reddick says Lil Rod is homeless. He didn't have his own apartment or home to go to. Sounds like he was mostly a willing participant. Perhaps he was trying to make a way, allegedly. You heard? LeBron. What you mean by that, gang? Is everything good? Did he give you that Balco that they say that you're using, champ? Who knows? Mr. Combs' deceptive practices became so bad that Mr. Jones was left with no choice other than to make a public plea on social media for Mr. Combs to pay him for his work. After publicly requesting that Mr. Combs do the right thing and pay him fairly, Mr. Jones received an onslaught of threatening messages from Stevie J and Love Records A&R DeForest Taylor. And they do have those screenshots of those messages too. You dig? Crazy. Oh man, they got voice messages and everything. They said Mr. Combs used his power and influence to threaten and intimidate Mr. Jones. According to Mr. Jones, Mr. Combs is very forceful and demanding. Mr. Combs does not take no for an answer and would often threaten to inflict bodily harm on Mr. Jones if Mr. Jones did not comply with his demands, as detailed above. Mr. Combs threatened to eat Mr. Jones' face. I don't understand that threat. What do you mean by that? You're going to eat his face? What type of time is you on, gang? Oh, man. Oh, my God, man. How can I hit you up to help me get my page rocking? Instagram at ShowfaceTF. Email showfacenews@gmail.com. That's it, champ. But, bro, what is going on? Diddy keeps threatening to eat the man's face. I don't like this. What does this mean, champ? What does this mean? You're going to eat his face, bro? It sounds disgusting. What type of threat is that? I've never heard a threat. I'm going to eat your face. Champ, what? On another occasion, while standing in Mr. Combs' bedroom, Mr. Jones was forced to watch as Mr. Combs displayed his guns and bragged about getting away with shooting people. Mr. Combs shared that he was responsible for shooting in the nightclub in New York City with rapper Shine. That's where that comes from. He shared that the artist and Mr. Combs' girlfriend at the time, Jennifer Lopez, aka J-Lo, carried the gun into the club for him and passed him the gun after he got into an altercation with another individual. So you telling me J-Lo was carrying the ratchet? Oh, well, I guess she still got some Bronx blood in her to a degree. Oh, champ, she carried the Glock. She had the hammer. Who would have knew? The shooting in Charlie's recording studios confirmed Mr. Combs' statements. These statements reinforced Mr. Jones' fear of Mr. Combs and strengthened Mr. Combs' dominion and control over Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones was terrified of Mr. Combs. He felt like he could not tell him no. Mr. Combs consistently made it clear that he has immense power in the music industry with law enforcement. Mr. Combs made it clear that his head of security, Fahim Muhammad, had the power to make people and problems disappear. With a name like that, making niggas disappear. Here is Fahim Muhammad right here. Mr. Combs instructs his staff to always contact Mr. Muhammad if they ever pulled over by police in Miami or California. Upon information and belief, Mr. Muhammad spoke with the LAPD after G was shot at CRS. The LAPD was in CRS and witnessed the blood in the restroom, and they went with the bogus claim that the shooting of G occurred outside of the studio. This was all thanks to Mr. Muhammad's connection with law enforcement. Mr. Jones had no reason to disbelieve Mr. Combs, as he had seen firsthand through the shooting of G and the subsequent silence of the LAPD and the media that Mr. Combs indeed had the power to harm him. The LAPD spent hours in CRS after the shooting of G, yet there were no arrests. Mr. Jones witnessed the LAPD in the restroom pictured above, yet no arrests were made. The morning after the shooting, Mr. Jones and several others arrived at CRS, and G's blood was still on the floor of the restroom, and Mr. Combs hired a cleaning crew to clean it up. So the reason that he probably not even arrested is probably because he might have some power over there at the LAPD. Now, everybody knows how crooked the LAPD is, champs. The LAPD is extremely crooked, all right? Very crooked police force, the LAPD is. Defendant Ethiopia Habitamarium, Charles Green, Motown Records, Love Records, and Universal Music Group aided, abetted, and profited off of Sean Combs' RICO enterprise. Mr. Jones recalls seeing defendant Grange visiting Mr. Combs' home in Miami, Florida, and Los Angeles, California. Notice, all goes back to the locations of the mansions, bro. These mansions got raided because of these documents. You dig? These mansions got raided because of these documents. Because we keep mentioning Los Angeles and Miami only. According to Mr. Jones, whenever defendant Grange visited Mr. Combs at his homes, it would be in the evening, and he and Mr. Combs would disappear for hours in Mr. Combs' bedroom. Hey, yo, hours? What y'all doing in there? Feeding each other grapes, nigga? Sunflower seeds? Why you in the bedroom for hours? I don't like that. Y'all having a marathon, champ? Oh, champ. Defendant Green sponsored and attended several Love album listening parties at Mr. Combs' home in Los Angeles, California. These parties were sponsored by defendants MR, LR, and UMG. As evidence above, these parties had sex workers and underage girls present. During these parties, defendant Grange knew or should have known that Mr. Combs was drugging the attendees through laced bottles of De Leon tequila and Ciroc vodka, which is why he ended up losing the De Leon tequila deal. It is no secret that Mr. Combs had specific bottles of alcohol designated for females and other bottles designated for his staff, his artists, and himself. This fact was detailed by former artists and bodyguards of Mr. Combs. As a sponsor of these events, defendant Grange had a duty and obligation to ensure that sex workers and underage girls were not present and that Mr. Combs was not spiking the alcohol with date grape drugs. On YouTube channel The Art of Dialogue, former bodyguard Gene Dale exposed Mr. Combs' pill mixing method used to spike cranberry juice and orange juice. According to Mr. Dale, Mr. Combs would place ecstasy and other date grape drugs in the juices. On YouTube, The Art of Dialogue, former artist Mark Curry exposed Mr. Combs spiking bottles of Moet champagne in the VIP section of nightclubs. Mr. Combs would have a set of Moet champagne bottles for his artists and a set for women. So this nigga is carrying bottles of date grape drugs. Oh, this is nasty work. This is crazy. I ain't gonna lie. But Gene Dale been going in on Diddy for years, bro. Before there was even a Diddy discussion in this regard, Gene Dale been talking crazy about Puff. Now Gene Dale is out here shining, you know what I'm saying, with the Diddy talks. Because guess what? He got 1 billion Diddy stories for y'all. You dig? It's crazy, man. C Easy says, right, Jadakiss had to cuss Diddy out for his money, him and D Block back in the day. I remember that. We also remember the Hot 97 thing with Jadakiss and Styles P going at Puff. I remember that. But this is, if this is indeed fact, it's gonna get nasty. You heard? Now, again, no arrests have been made, no charges have been made yet. But right now, I'm not gonna lie, reading all this is crazy. Now, even though some of these stories is shaky, I don't know, Chin. This looks wild though. I'm not gonna lie. This writer has spoken with several former employees of Mr. Combs who witnessed defendant Coram instruct her staff to lace champagne, De Leon, and Ciroc liquor bottles with ecstasy and other illicit drugs. Mr. Jones recalls seeing defendant Habta Miriam visiting Mr. Combs' home in Miami, Florida, and Los Angeles, California. According to Mr. Jones, whenever defendant Habta Miriam visited Mr. Combs at his homes, it would be in the evening, and she and Mr. Combs would disappear for hours in Mr. Combs' bedroom. Why are everybody disappearing in this man's bedroom, gang? First it was the Grange nigga, and now it's the chick. So I'm assuming he goes both directions, champ. But disappearing in the man's bedroom for hours is strange work. What in the world are y'all doing for hours in the bedroom? Ain't this nigga like 50 something years old? How is he able to continue doing this? I don't know. But anywho, it says, according to Mr. Jones, defendant Habta Miriam visited Mr. Combs at defendant CRS during Mr. Combs' writing camp. Defendant Habta Miriam sponsored and attended several Love album listening parties at Mr. Combs' home in Los Angeles, California. These parties were sponsored by defendants MR, LR, and UMG. As evidence above, these parties had sex workers and underage girls present. During these parties, defendant Habta Miriam knew or should have known that Mr. Combs was drugging the attendees through lace bottles of De Leon tequila and Ciroc vodka. As a sponsor of these events, defendant Habta Miriam had a duty and obligation to ensure that sex workers and underage girls were not present and that Mr. Combs was not spiking the alcohol with date grape drugs. Man, this is crazy. Now, oddly enough, Ghislaine Maxwell is in these documents. Oh, champ, were you on the island? Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button and share the video, man. This is crazy. You know, y'all got Ghislaine Maxwell in these docs. Oh, this is going in a very different direction, gang. Y'all hit the like button and share the video. This is getting spooky. What's going on? Oh, man. Hey, look. Allegedly, they said Diddy got an underground bunker at one of them mansions, dog. Allegedly. Underground bunkers at the mansion, allegedly. Not gonna say it's fact. You dig? I don't know what's under there. It says defendant Christina Coram is the Ghislaine Maxwell to Sean Combs, Jeffrey Pepstein. Okay, so let's be very clear. Ghislaine Maxwell is not in these docs. It just is making a comparison to the Jeffrey Pepstein. I said Pepstein on purpose. They're making a comparison of Diddy to Jeffrey Pepstein, okay, on purpose. According to Mr. Jones, during the 13 months he lived and traveled with Mr. Combs, he witnessed Mr. Combs display and distribute guns from his bedroom closet in Miami, Florida, and Los Angeles, California to questionable individuals dressed in all black. Those is the Udas. That's who they are. And there go that pink white that they was talking about, that pink cane, champ. According to Mr. Jones, during the 13 months he lived and traveled with Mr. Combs, he witnessed defendant Coram openly ordered her assistants to keep Mr. Combs high off gummies and pills. Defendant Coram required all employees, from the butler, the chef, to the housekeepers, to walk around with a pouch of fanny packs filled with that pink cocaine, GHB, ecstasy, marijuana, gummies, and Tusi, a pink drug that is a combination of ecstasy and cocaine. So that's what it really is. So the pink cocaine they was talking about is actually a mix of ecstasy and coke. Okay. A lot of people were saying it was ketamine. They might be wrong. Ketamine is like horse tranquilizer. That's actually what Kanye was addicted to for a minute. It was important to defendant Combs to have Mr. Combs' drug of choice immediately ready when he asked for it. Defendant Combs ordered sex workers and prostitutes for Mr. Combs. Defendant Combs ordered and distributed ecstasy, cocaine, GHB, ketamine, marijuana, and mushrooms to Mr. Combs and his celebrity guests who were present on his rented yacht and in his homes in LA, NYC, and Miami. On multiple occasions, defendant Combs forced Mr. Jones to carry Mr. Combs' drug pouch against his will. As the chief of staff, defendant Combs was instrumental in organizing and executing the RICO enterprise. Defendant Combs had the following individuals execute the following tasks for the RICO enterprise. Stevie J would recruit sex workers and attendants and participants in freak-offs. Justin Combs would solicit prostitutes, underage girls, and sex workers would engage in freak-offs. And Brendan Paul works as Mr. Combs' drug mule. He acquires and distributes Mr. Combs' drugs and guns. Brendan Paul was the guy who got locked up for distributing drugs just yesterday, by the way. But Justin Combs, you in trouble, champ. You seem to be very much a participant in the nonsense. They said you were directly responsible for bringing underage girls to Puff's crib, nigga. That's what they said you did, champ. They said you were directly responsible for doing this. So, champ, you're in trouble too, gang. All right, that's nasty work. What's good with all these underage girls, champ? Bringing underage girls and drugging the Ciroc and the De Leon. Like, what's really good with that? Something is up with that, respectfully. You dig? Yeah, his son is very much tapped in, as what it seems like to me. All right, now the only person that then got locked up so far is your boy Brendan Paul, former collegiate athlete, because Brendan Paul actually used to be an athlete in college, by the way. I don't know how he went from playing ball to actually serving 8 balls. Don't know how that happened, gang. He went from a collegiate athlete to actually serving drugs for Puff. How did that happen? Don't know. But that nigga did get locked up. However, he's also not locked up anymore because he got bonded out, just so y'all know, in case y'all didn't know. Justin was the one that shared Lori Harvey with his pops. I believe so. I could be wrong. It's either him or it's the other one. I'm not sure. I'm not certain. It could be Justin, though. Could be Justin, though. I ain't gonna lie to you, gang. All right. It says Frankie Santella works alongside Brendan while Brendan acquires and distributes Mr. Combs' drugs and guns. Frankie carries the money and pays for the guns and drugs. Moy Bwan hires sex workers and attendants and participates in freak-offs. So these freak-offs is a common thing that happens a lot, according to Little Rod. You dig? That's what it looked like to me. Angela says Little Rod is ratting on everybody and Diddy doing dirt, yo. It seems like Little Rod is out here telling. You know what I'm saying? Now, even though some of these things may be questionable, there's a lot of information here, champs. I ain't gonna lie. The only person that been locked up so far was the drug mule dude, but they say he not even locked up no more. They say he got bonded out, allegedly. That's what they saying. But again, this is crazy, though. I'm not going to lie. This is wild so far. But these are the real court documents that Little Rod has on Puff. And there's a lot of participants in this. You know what I'm saying? Anyone from Justin Combs seems to be very much active in all of the nonsense as well, which is not too surprising, right? Really not. So it says Mr. Combs is allowed to wreak havoc. Hold on. It says Mr. Combs, while living and traveling with Mr. Combs, Mr. Jones discovered that Mr. Combs has hidden cameras in every room of his homes. Mr. Jones believes that Mr. Combs has recordings of defendants Lucian Charles Grange, Ethiopia Habtemariam, as well as other celebs, music label executives, politicians, and athletes. Upon information and belief that these individuals are recorded without their knowledge and consent, and as in the case with the homosexual sex tape of Stevie J and Combs provided to Mr. Jones. See, and this is the lie right here. The messed up part is the tape of Stevie J and the Mook. That's not true. When that information came out weeks and weeks ago, it was already proven that that was not Stevie J. That was someone else. By the way, he has that misconstrued. He either thinks that Stevie J in his head, or he just made it up. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, see, Easy said, I thought that Young Miami was his drug mule. No, it's not her. But she did partake in distributing it. Yes. You know what I'm saying? Anywho, upon information and belief due to this treasure trove of evidence he has in his possession, Mr. Combs believes that he is above the law and is untouchable. Upon information and belief, Mr. Combs employs Jose Cruz as his IT director. This writer has spoken to several former employees of Mr. Combs who confirm that Jose Cruz is the gatekeeper to all of Mr. Combs' recordings. Upon information and belief, Jose Cruz intentionally hides behind the camera and from social media and the internet due to all of the incriminating acts he has acquired to record for Mr. Combs. He got the number and all that right there. Yeah, this is wild, gang. This is crazy. I ain't gonna lie. It's about 72 pages long of court documents, which is why they were able to raid the Miami and the Los Angeles mansions, right? Dead the Dawn says Justin all up in it. That's why when he got locked up a couple months ago, his mom's was on the shade room wilding on Diddy. Yeah, it's a lot, nigga. 72 pages. You know, I ain't running through all these pages. I'm just giving y'all a little details. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know how much Justin had involvement in this. The crazy part is he's the direct person responsible for allegedly bringing in underage girls to the party. And guess what? According to Little Rod, I'm going to find that picture again. According to Little Rod, this is a picture of bro with an underage girl. Hold on, right here. This picture. Let me zoom in. See that? They saying that that's a picture of Justin Combs and his underage girl to his right, to your left. Allegedly. What did LeBron James say again? LeBron said something, bro.
Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah.
That's
What you said, Brown?
Nobody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah.
That's
I don't know, Chin. They got hurt here underage girls at the Diddy party, Chin. I don't know if you want to put yourself in that boat. Feel me? I don't think you want to be a part of that gang. I think you might want to retract it. That. You heard? I don't know, Brown. You know, they said LeBron was on this steroid called Balco and all that. Is that where you got it from, gang? Allegedly? I don't know, Brown. Oh, man. LeBron might break your heart this year. They said, bro, on them Roy's, gang. Oh, man. How was he able to take pictures and nobody notices? They said he had cameras all throughout all of his rooms, in his cribs, in his mansions. You dig? Shade Room posted news that Lil Rob was lying again. I told y'all that nigga be lying, bro. I mean, these are some interesting documents. It's all alleged, though, because we don't got no solid proof. Because the nigga wanted like $250,000 that he did not get. Again, is Little Rod a liar? Y'all gotta let me know in the comment section, man. You dig? But we gonna get to more of this. I might make a little series out of these documents. You may have to, you know what I'm saying, take it from the top tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? We might make a little document series. I don't know. I'm thinking about it. Y'all let me know what y'all think though in them comments. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, like the video, share the video if you're new. But gang, it's the mayor, the one and only real New York mayor, F. Eric Adams. You rocking with the town favorite Showface News, the Spit Gotham. And you already know it's a town versus everybody at all times. Like I said, hit that like, share the video, leave comments below, chat. I'm going to get to more of these documents later. We got a lot more content to come tomorrow. Y'all stay tuned for more. I know the news is gonna keep going crazy. Y'all hit that like, share the video, man. Salute to the chat. Subscribe if you're new. You already know the vibes. We got more content to come. Let's get it. Let's go.